Hey, welcome back! I'm Joyce, and today I'll be showing you my portfolio for when I applied to Syracuse's School of Architecture. Through this video, I want to make the application process for architecture school and possibly even art schools. I want to make the application process more transparent because art is so subjective. I want to give some sort of reference point for other aspiring architecture students. So for Syracuse in particular, they were looking for an actual portfolio in terms of it has pages rather than individual images put together. So what you'll be seeing in a few seconds is what I submitted to Syracuse and most likely what the admissions officers for the School of Architecture saw when they looked at my application. A disclaimer first, this is by no means a method of comparison. And what I'm about to show you of my portfolio is not the only portfolio that can get into Syracuse, because there are so many other students who also got in. So I'm not a goal or someone that you might necessarily look up to. I'm just here to show you what I used to get in, and from that you can analyze what you might need to get in yourself. Before I actually get into my portfolio, I want to first go over the requirements that Syracuse has for the architecture portfolio. So first of all, they want 12 to 24 high-quality reproductions of your best and most recent artwork. I interpreted that as 12 to 24 images of those pieces of art. And then in addition to those images, they also want a brief statement outlining your interest in the field of architecture. So that is actually quite unique. Not all schools want kind of a personal statement of interest in architecture as part of the portfolio. Other schools might ask it as part of the essay section, but for Syracuse, they want it as part of the portfolio. And then going back to the works, they'll be evaluated based on demonstrated skill, discipline, and creativity. They also highly encouraged you to submit works from real-life observation in addition to observational drawing, other media such as painting, 2D and 3D design, photography, woodworking, sculpture, or any other visual media. And then for more of the technical aspects of what the portfolio should look like, they wanted each portfolio item to be labeled with information about the medium used, whether the project was done on your own or in class, the original size, and a 1 to 2 sentence comment about the piece. So that was also unique, the sentence part. For other schools, they might not require any comment to be written, or I remember for Cornell, they wanted close to like 2 paragraphs worth of writing. So that also varies quite a bit. And so when preparing your portfolio, you should keep that in mind. So now that all the intro stuff is out of the way, we can get to the actual portfolio. So here it is. So I began with a title page. They wanted the title page to represent who you are, and so I made mine pretty simple and geometric, and I also included one of the pieces that was part of my portfolio that I thought that the concept and idea of the piece really represented what I aspired to be as an architect. As you can see on the first page, I have this really sharp borderline between the image on the left and the text on the right, and I made sure to continue that throughout the portfolio. And then for the second page, I had my brief statement. And so again, I had my text all on the right, and this didn't have any image, so I just left the left side blank. You can read through it yourself, just kind of detailing how I got into architecture and how I came to want to pursue a specific type of experiential and spatial architecture. So then for my first piece of the portfolio, which is the third page of the portfolio, I have one of my older works. As a side note, some schools wanted you to indicate what year or when you did the piece. Syracuse didn't require that, but for this piece in particular, I did this in summer of 2018. So it's quite a long time ago, but I still felt like it represented who I was, and I thought the quality was quite good, so I included it. My second page is a series of observational drawings of a bunch of cornices throughout my hometown, and these were just part of observational drawing, quick sketch. I did this during the winter of 2020, so the winter of when I was applying to Syracuse. So these were quite last minute, but I still thought the quality was quite okay. And then these two are sketches I did while I was traveling in San Francisco. As you can tell from the image of the sketches, I did them in 2019, and I really liked them, so I included them, and they were real observational drawings, which I thought were really strong. Another set of observational drawings, these were more complete, I guess, especially the one in the top left with the rose. I did all of these, especially the top two ones, a few days before I submitted, just because I felt like I was missing detailed observational drawings. And then we have my still life drawing. This one I felt like was okay. I liked the right side of the drawing more than the left side. This one took a really long time. I started this in like October of 2019. I kind of did it on and off for a year, and then I finally finished it in like maybe October, November of 2020. So a very long time, but it turned out quite nice. And then this piece is a portrait of a hermit, and you can kind of tell my concept from the description, but I was also trying to go for more of a loose kind of portrait, because all of my pieces are mostly intricate and detailed, and I want to be more general and I guess vague. And then the next one is photography that I did as part of a summer art class, which I thought turned out very well. And then I did this project as part of a Cornell summer architecture class. It was a 6-week class, so all of the content within the 6 weeks culminated throughout this project. So there was a set of more like conceptual section drawings of like the model we made, and then we transferred that into a rhino model through some more abstract means. In addition to explaining what the concept is, I also need to explain how I used Rhino and Photoshop. So that's why this page has a lot more writing on it. And then this one is made out of concrete, which is the first time I've ever used more non-conventional material. So I was just experimenting, and I think it came out really nice, even though it broke when I was curing the cement. I think it was very conceptually well done. Similarly, another conceptual architectural sculpture, also dealing with material and space and experience, as with the last piece, but this was done a few years ago in 2018. It was part of the same program where I did the screen wall. And then my last piece is also the piece that I showed on my title page. It's of a found collection of items sitting atop a light box and reflected upon sheets of plastic and metallic-y paper. This was, in addition to being like a conceptual spatial sculpture, it was also photography and how I framed the sculpture. And so that was my portfolio. I hope that was informational and helpful for how you might get started curating and creating your portfolio. I hope you noticed that throughout the portfolio I kept the text on the right side and the images on mostly the left side. There is always a clear line between right side and left side, which I think is also important because how you organize the page is also an aspect of design. And then, as you may have noticed, I talked about pieces that I did like 3 years ago and pieces that I did like 5 days before the portfolio was due. And so I just want to emphasize that I did do a lot of works in between from 3 years ago and from a few months before the application was due, but I didn't include all of them. I curated what I thought was the best work and what I thought would be most valuable and most different from what other things I was going to show. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you thought it was informational, and thank you. Bye.